Hello. Still setting up here. Hang on. Hey, namaste. I am all ready. Actually, I got the bell, but not the gong for the bell. Let's see, the gong for the bell. I'll just have to do it like that. So let's see, and I've got you guys. Let's see if I have that successfully. Hold on, YouTube wants me to skip ads. Let's see. Because I'd love to take the chat from my phone. So hang on, let me see. Now all of a sudden I've lost the chat. Let's see. You guys, YouTube is constantly changing how you do everything. And I don't tend to, let me know in the chat how you're doing. Let me see if I can pull it up on here, because that's what I'd like to do. Now I am live. Hang on. It's hard to practice this too, because Percival, did you guys hear that? That was Percival the cat, and it was a very strange meow. So how are you guys doing? Where are you from? Where are you watching from? I'm trying to pull up your chat on the phone, which would be better. If I can do that, let's see. It's saying that I'm live, and I'm seeing myself in a delay. Okay, live top chat. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. I think at least I can chat. Hopefully I can see your questions in the chat. So I thought this would be an open forum. I've got some incense going, and actually I have a candle, though I can't see it because of the way my computer is. And you guys, at some point I am going to get fancier, and I will do where I can do it via Zoom, and that way I could like show you things on my screen. But for right now, and right now it's just showing me talking in the chat, but I see. Okay. Yeah, so how are you guys doing? How are you holding up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have no particular theme, and I think that scares people when I say that. They're like, oh, what's going to happen? The last time I did this, we talked about manifestation, and I had women from the US and from Italy asking me questions. You can see that video. That was so much fun. This morning, I shared in my Chakra course, which is running right now with 21 goddesses, somewhere between 21 and 22. And we were live, and we were working with the sacral chakra. And so that was really fun. We did some movement. We did some like sensual dance. And I showed some specific acupressure points. So that was really nice. Oh, did you hear that? My back also just like totally realigned. Oh my God, I feel inches taller right now. So yeah, share in the chat how you're doing. Do communicate, because basically I'm sitting here in my space talking to myself on the screen. So unless you say something, I want to know you're there. Do you have any questions about chakras or manifestation? You can go ahead and ask that. I have some tea here, sort of an odd tea. I won't even tell you what it is, because it's just basically I made some like how would I even describe it? Gosh, I lost the sort of fish. I made almost like a fish burrito with like black beans. I made like a black bean puree. I had a fillet of fish that I spiced really well, and then I served it over blue corn chips. And I made my own guacamole. It was delicious. I needed more spice though. Like I needed sort of a nice salsa, like a mango peach salsa or something. And I didn't have that, but it was absolutely delicious anyway. So yeah, what are your questions? How are you doing? Share in the chat. And so from that, I also had some squash. I love winter squash, you guys. And so I cubed up some butternut squash, and then the water from that is what I'm drinking. So it's really nutritious, and it tastes really good. It tastes really sweet. Let's see. All right, no questions. So I feel like I usually don't go live till 4. There's 6 of you here, and nobody's typing in the chat. So not quite sure You have no questions? What would you like me to talk about? Just type in the chat, let me know. Okay. If you have any questions about manifestation, law of attraction, um, chakra healing, energy healing, all of that. Otherwise, we can sit here and you can look at me and I can look at myself. And if they're really, yeah, I typically don't go live till 4, and I wonder if that makes a difference. Hello, Sean. Thank you for saying hi, breaking that that terror barrier. So thank you, Sean. How are you doing? Where are you from? Where are you guys watching from? If you are, because sometimes I had like folks from my chakra course come or from Patreon, that's fine. Let me know if you are either a patron or if you're from the chakra course. There we go. Maybe there also might be a bit of a delay. Yeah. Hello. Delay, and Isabella from Canada. Hi, Isabella. I love that name. There are a couple names I really like. I like the name Sophia, because of the wisdom. I like Isabella a lot. They're just like a few names that I just really like. I just like how the sound of them, and Isabella is one of them. It's sort of like old-fashioned and sort of grand, and I like that. So let's see. Sean. Hey, Sean. You're great. Yeah, any questions? Yeah, no, you're welcome. I think it's beautiful. And if that is your whole real name, that's really nice together. You should probably write books or something because you have such a good name for like that would be good on a book or something because it sounds made up. But that's all I'll say. I won't even say the full name, but that's fine. So Michigan, yep. Hello from Michigan, from Canada. Great. I am in upstate New York, and I generally live in New York State. I've lived there a lot of my life. Oh, from Morocco. Oh my God, I love this. But you're living in the Netherlands and you're drinking red wine. Oh, yes. I think either you are a patron. Yes. Don't quite know how to. Yeah, Leila. Oh, wonderful. Good to see you. I love red wine. I'm not just saying that. I really typically, especially if it's winter, I like red wine. If it's cooler, I like the flavor of it. And if it's summer, I guess depending what you're eating, I'm not an expert on that. But I do like some white wines. But if it's cooler weather and like I'm eating like a heavier meal, I like a red wine. I like the taste of it. But I guys can't drink very much because I'm a lightweight. So Layla, enjoy your wine. One drink, you guys, and that's it. Like that's pretty much. I mean, occasionally I'll have more than one, but that's pretty rare. So yeah, do you have any questions? I think what I'll do while I just wait for any questions is share a little bit about what I'm up to. You guys, I moved, not just because of COVID. Have you heard my bat house story? I was living in a house. Okay, it wasn't just me. It was me and bats, okay? Let me know if you've ever had to get I guess it's a rabies shot. Have you guys ever had to get a rabies shot because of bats? So I first heard, because there were a lot of bats in my area for some reason. And I heard like some kids at a camp, you guys, they all had to get shots. And I was like, oh, poor kids, whatever. And then somebody said to me, oh, it goes by weight. So, when then I had a bat in my house, long story, I thought, well, I don't weigh that much. So it'll probably be like maybe 1 or 2 shots, right? No, 5 shots. 5 shots because I was asleep, you guys, and I woke up. And Percival the cat, who some of you know if you really follow my channel, I heard, how just like a mom, you just know what are normal sounds and you know what are weird sounds. And it was just weird. Woke me up. So I'm laying there and we can talk about minimalism a little. I like a low mattress. And it was an attic sort of room. So you guys, how it's like a dormer, right? Like that. So I wake up and there's a bat flying low over my head. I'm like, and it took me a moment. I'm like, And you let out a sound. I'm like, ah! And I covered my head with the sheet and I laid back down, which, like, I don't know, it's protecting myself, defensive move. And then I stayed like that for a minute, contemplating, what does this mean? If there's a bat flying around, what do I do? How do I get out? How do I escape? Is it a vampire? As my housemates start making noise now. Anyway, finally, I unpoke my head from the sheet. And seriously, you guys, like, remember old movies like with vampires? They really do fly like this. Like, they fly weird. They fly. I can't even explain it. They're just like like that. Anyway, that was the first bat. And that led to 5 shots. Yes, 2 in the upper arm, 2 in your thigh. And then I guess like 1 in the other arm. I remember, I think I had to go 2 or 3 times. So that was Bat House. And because of Bat House, I moved. And because COVID was starting, I moved. I moved in with some friends because we thought, they were really watching COVID. And they're just like, they just thought it'd be safer if we were all together. So if we all needed anything, we could like help each other, which I really believe in. Let me know if you believe in that, like kind of cooperative. I think it can really be really helpful. Anyway, so we did that. So I moved here and I can't make some videos that I want to make for you guys. Okay. So I am moving. For instance, I can't make yoga videos easily here because there's so much furniture and it's very cottagey. You can see like the dark wood. It just doesn't film well. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be moving and I'm going to move to a place that has a beautiful skylight. And it literally just looks like a kind of a film studio because it's just open. And I'm so excited. So I'm going to make more yoga videos. Okay. So let me know if you like that, if you think that's a good idea, because I do, like I said, I don't know what you guys like, except I see like what videos you watch more. Okay. So let me know if you like the idea of yoga videos and put in your requests also in the chat. Oh, good. Everybody's coming to life. I can see the chat now going by. Let me see if I can see it on my phone, which is what I would prefer. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Yes, yes, yes. So we've got folks from Michigan, the Netherlands, all across the US, typically, Canada as well. Turkey. Oh, wow. My good friend in college was from Turkey. She did get me into a really bad car accident. I'll never forget that. Okay. And tell me, I'm not going to pronounce her name right, but Dile, is it true that she said everybody drives like this in Turkey? That was her, after we got into the car accident, you guys, and we were like discussing it. Everybody had calmed down because we almost crashed into a tractor trailer, an 18-wheeler. Do you know what I'm saying? An 18-wheeler. And we were in a little car. Okay, so I wouldn't be here talking to you if it had just gone another couple seconds. And so she's like, oh, everybody in Turkey drives like this. And I'm like, that can't be true because there wouldn't be that many people in Turkey. So let me know. A person from Turkey, let me know. Okay. Yes, Sean, thank you for sharing. Okay. Okay. So I have a good question. I'll just say, I'll say from Sean, going through divorce, blah, blah. I won't share all the details. What chakra work can I do to operate in my power self? Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, and I hope that things go smoothly for you. That would be the 3rd chakra. The 3rd chakra is very much about personal power and confidence and self-esteem. And when that is strong, people sense that and they feel that from you. All of this stuff we sense. You know how you meet some people and you just either don't like them, you can feel their energy, they're either just really down or depressed, or some people, and no offense to them, but maybe you feel drained when you're with them. All right, give me a thumbs up or a yes if you just meet somebody, you get a sense of them. So the 3rd chakra, it's almost like it just gives you a sense of like a shield. It's a strong aura. So it is Manipura, the 3rd chakra. It's above the navel. And things that strengthen it, first of all, would really be the meditation. And I'm not going to look it up for you. Go to my channel and look up 3rd chakra. And I'm pretty sure I have a meditation on that. And I share about it. In fact, I have a long video that ends with a meditation. The bija mantra is rum, 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 rum. Like it's spelled RAM, but it's not pronounced quite that way. And is to do with the quality of fire. And so I was actually, well, I will be sharing this in my chakra course. We're not up to the third chakra yet, but fire is linked also with the quality of charisma. So when you see these movie stars, people who attract attention, it's because they have a lot of fire. They literally shine. They have a glow. They have a warmth that we are drawn to. Okay, that's the third chakra. So that's what I would work on, is strengthening that particular chakra. And if you have any digestive issues, it's linked with that on the physical level, because it is that area that governs our digestion. The issue and imbalanced is anger. And so I actually believe, and I'm not going to talk about politics, but a lot of the emotions that people are feeling are related to their organs and to the energy centers. So the liver gallbladder, you guys, I know this may sound really esoteric and weird, but the liver gallbladder is linked with anger. You know how there's the stereotype of when somebody's a heavy drinker, typically they become angry, right? There's like a rage, right? And some people become happy. So it depends on the energy of the liver gallbladder. So for some people, it relaxes them a little bit, and that's why they get happier and they feel good. But then when you abuse it, it becomes like anger, and that's the liver gallbladder. So you want to eat the type of diet that nourishes and keeps that energy flowing. So like fried food, heavy food is not good for the liver gallbladder. Alcohol is not good for it. And then if you're abusing that, you'll start to feel angry and irritated easily. So Sean, that was a lot. I don't know if that answered your question. So there are videos on my channel. I begin to start my day with affirmations nowadays. Do you have a suggestion about affirmations? Well, Adile, that's a great question. Share with me. Great, I have something in my teeth. Only when you're live, right? Delay, what are you trying to manifest? And I love to do that. So tell me what you're wanting to manifest, and I can give you some affirmations that you can work with. Because sometimes when we're really close to something, like if we know we want to meet someone, we want to be in a relationship, it's hard for us to kind of get out of our own head. Or if it's a financial thing, sometimes we may not frame the affirmation right. So definitely those are things I could answer. Okay, yeah, Isabella, I'll definitely be making more yoga videos, because I just will have room. Like I said, nobody wants to see a video of yoga where there's just too much stuff in the background, bookshelves, and it was just where I am now. And they're wonderful friends, but they have a lot of stuff. And so I moved in my stuff in with their stuff. So you can imagine, it was just like, it's just too much. So I'm so excited. I may make a video on not minimalism exactly, but kind of, okay? I'm not going to change my whole channel. Don't unsubscribe, okay? But let me know if you're interested at all there are definitely spiritual implications to minimalism. There definitely are. And I'm like, I think I'm a minimalist. Oh my God, my whole life. Okay, and I can explain why, but I'm going to go back to your questions. Yeah, no, Sean, what relates? You might have said this before. Resentment is a milder form of anger. So yes, that's the liver. That's the liver gallbladder. And I believe that's really common in our culture. And nobody says this. Only people who are into holistic stuff, who may do acupuncture, we know this. Our diets, literally our emotions, are affected by our diet. So if someone eats a lot of heavy fried food, right, that organ has to work harder and it doesn't function as well. And that not functioning as well comes out as an irritability. That organ is having to work hard. So yes, resentment, frustration, anything like that, any layers that would relate to anger are liver gallbladder. A colleague of mine, when I was teaching at a massage school, he said that the gallbladder is more personal personal anger to ourselves for not it's more like inwardly directed, while the liver is just like when we're just angry in general. But the gallbladder is more about feeling anger at ourselves. It's like an inner anger. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, that part. Let me just take more questions. Hi, Robbie. Okay, Delay says, I want to start to teach yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, and I want to believe that I am enough. Delay, if you took the yoga teacher training, so you took your YTT. Yeah, okay. So I love, like I said, I love doing affirmations for people, and it kind of helps you. And then you I was working with a client. She goes, I'll zhuzh it up. I'll that's very good, but I'll zhuzh it up even more. So, what you don't want to do with affirmations is make an affirmation that you don't believe at all. So what I believe works and I've seen work is don't suddenly say, I am a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. What I would say, you say becoming or every day. So I would say something like, I am becoming a successful yoga teacher. I love teaching yoga. My classes are growing each day. So do you see how it's seeing the improvement and then it leads you to it? Oops, my light just went off. So now I'm in like semi-darkness. So I also would want to know more about, how do you want to, who do you want to teach? Do you want to have classes? Do you want to be a private yoga teacher? Do you want a big class? So things like that I would put into the affirmation. So I would start saying something like, and because it sounds like it's self-esteem, I'd say I'm a wonderful yoga teacher. I love helping my students and my students love me. I would keep it really simple. I love helping my students and my students love me. My classes are getting so full, I'm going to have to add others to my schedule, right? Do you see that? So something like that. Okay. Here, let me turn my light back on a second here. Okay. Anybody else? I'd love to help you come up with your affirmation. Let me see. Isabella, how should I start balancing my chakras? Well, so Isabella, I have a video on all 7 chakras. That's what I really recommend, and that's the safest, is you just work with each chakra because it's just basically balance. It's like polishing all your dishes or all your glasses or something. That's what I would do, and that's on my channel. Is I think it's called like all 7 chakras meditation, and we go through from the root up to the crown, and then we sort of ground the energy back down again. So that's what I would recommend. And my course is going to reopen in January, where I go into a lot of detail. Yeah, Bad House was crazy. You have no idea. So Percival in Bad House, the second bat, we thought we'd eradicated it, you guys. Okay. I and the neighbor, we forced the landlord to really invest in it. I mean, my neighbors, you guys, had gotten shots for 3 or 4 years. Every year they would get rabies shots. And I moved in and I'm like, no. I'm from New York City. I'm a New Yorker at heart. And if you know sort of the stereotype of New Yorkers, actually, I'm not really the quintessential New Yorker, but I was just like, I take vaccinations. I do, if I feel they're necessary, but I don't want to be just every year going in, right? So we got the landlord to do some mediation, you guys, and still we got another bat. So I have to tell this story. So one day I hear Percival again behind me, and I'm like, something is wrong. And I turn and he runs away, which was weird. So I went, I'm like, what is it? And picture a cat, out of the side of his mouth, you guys, are little points like this sticking out of his mouth. And I immediately, in that moment, I go, oh, he caught a butterfly. It wasn't a butterfly. The next second, I'm like, I literally just, my mouth was open. Like if you were filming me, it would have just looked stupid because I was just like, and I literally said, oh no. And I ran and got a broom. Got a broom. Like I'm going to hit my own cat. And I'm screaming at my cat, drop it. And I have the broom up in the air like this, right? It was crazy. And so my cat, he's amazing. But when he catches something, he thinks you're trying to steal his prize. So he's just like, and he's growling. He's like, and he's got the bat in his mouth. I was like, so then I realized maybe he shouldn't drop it. Maybe I'll stop the story there. But luckily he didn't drop it because it was still alive. It would have flown off. So he basically clamped it in his mouth and kept it and kept it and kept it. And then I called my neighbor and she sent her boyfriend. I loved it. She's asleep. It was night. She's like, go up there. Viv's having a problem. There's something going on. So she sends the boyfriend. He was not happy. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I need your help to, there's a bat. He's like, oh, there's a bat. I'm like, there's a bat. It was really funny, you guys, because he really didn't want to deal with it. And I'm like, okay, I have the bat under a pot. And he's like, what? I said, I have the bat trapped under a pot. And he's like, okay, all right, what do you want? What do you want? I was like, I have the broom. Like, it was just really stupid. I just really wanted him to help me, collect the bat. So this is 2 a.m. So I'd woken the man from probably a deep sleep. All right, let's go on. And so, yeah, from Bat House, I'm here. And that now I'm moving. This was because of COVID. We thought we'd sort of huddle together. Guys, we weren't even we wouldn't go to the grocery in April, May. We would just get our food delivered and everything. It was cheaper. We just all put in. Let's see. I know my bat story. So D, come back at me with one of your own affirmations. And why do you think that you're not good enough at it? What I would also say, just back to the yoga, because I do have a lot of yoga teachers that watch me. And in my chakra course, I have a young woman who's finishing her yoga teacher training. It is very nerve-wracking at the beginning. What I would do is practice with friends. And this is the other thing you should do. Just give some free classes. They're free. And you even say, you said, I just finished my yoga teacher training. I'm so excited to start teaching. What I would do is say donation. Say, and I'm doing these donation classes because I just really want to practice more. Just say it like that. Like, that's all. They're paying you a donation, right? They're not paying you the full price and you're getting to practice. So Delay, that's what I would actually do. Start with teaching a donation class or even free, depending on what works for your situation, because you are going to be giving something to them. So it's only fair, if they can give you something back. Okay. That is just a fair exchange of energy. So that's how I would start to get over that lack of confidence. Let's see. Hello, Sky. Okay, so I just want to read what Sean wrote. That makes sense because I believe relationships are mirrors. I can project the resentment on husband's behavior. Yes. Wow. No, that was really what you wrote makes a lot of sense. Relationships are mirrors. Absolutely. I mean, I discovered something while I was where I am now that really helped me see some patterns in my life. So yes, relationships are mirrors. Now, it doesn't mean literally say you're with somebody who's abusive. It doesn't mean you're abusive. It's it's a dance, you guys, right? It's like a yin yang. So for instance, in my family, there was a primary relationship where one person's very dominant and abusive, and the other person, I like that the other person was bending backwards, right? And was kind of submissive. So that's what I mean. It's not that you're exactly like that person, but the energies are fitting together. So yes, why is it that some women and even some men end up in abusive relationships over and over? Right? Over and over and over. So yes, but if we can clear that, I really believe we can clear that with deep work. That is actually what a lot of the chakra work is about, because it's like a CD. It's sort of cleaning it, and there are grooves, and you will just go around in the same groove, over and over until you just clear it. Okay. So that is the chakra work, is clearing at the energetic level. So yes, I think, Sean, what you shared is a really good insight about yourself. And it just means we're growing, right? We learn as we go along. Like I said, living where I am now, on some ways it was very positive, but in other ways I saw, wow, this doesn't really suit my personality and my goals for my life. So I just want to say to all of you, actually, maybe I found my theme for this is I really believe you can create what you desire. I think we're in co-creation. So that doesn't mean that if a tsunami's coming, you're going to stop the tsunami. What it does mean is what I've seen is you may have an intuition that a tsunami is coming, or and the tsunami may be a divorce. The tsunami may be your partner's having an affair. You are aware of it because you're tuned in and you're able to take the right action to move out of the path. Does that make sense? Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you get what I'm saying. So it's not that, and a lot of people, especially young people, really think, oh, I'll get so spiritual, I won't have any problems. That's not the case, because I guess it's what the 3D we're in. It's just that you're here. There's karma, there are things that happen, we have behaviors, but it's getting, I believe, more skillful at managing what's happening and learning. And if we learn, then we don't have to keep repeating them, right? Maybe the woman who always dates abusive men finally has a breakthrough, has her healing, has a catharsis. And I know this can happen to men too. I know there are men who've gotten in abusive relationships, but that you can break out of it. So I really believe we can change. That's like my main belief, is that we're here to learn and we're here to grow. And what really bothers me the most, almost more than anything, is if I feel someone isn't wanting to grow or is harming themselves. I find that very difficult to deal with. Like, have any of you ever had a friend where, they had some sort of addiction? As I mentioned, my mom was an alcoholic, so I have noticed, and she was depressed, right? As many alcoholics are, right? I've noticed I was like, looking back, I tend to attract in my personal life people who are depressed. And so that's something that I'm working on now, is because I would almost want to help them and fix them and lift them up. So again, let me know if you resonate with that. Let me see if there are more questions. Oh, Delay, Sean says, you can also start a YouTube yoga class. I will subscribe. Hello. Thank you, Sean. I'm on YouTube and I didn't think of that. The reason though, I would like Delay, and I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know from the name, male or female. Okay. The reason I would like them to do it in person is still better. I'm just going to go there with that. I'm going to be honest with you too, which is another tangent, but there's a lot of things I have opinions about from my experience. A lot of people are even doing certifications online and so on. I believe for something like yoga teacher training, and I have friends who are yoga teachers, this is unanimous. You want to learn it in person. You want to learn to teach yoga in person, and any of these things that are, they're interpersonal. It's better. So I think it would be great. You could do it online for sure. But like I said, offer free or discount classes just to get your rhythm, get your plan, get your style together of how you want to teach, get your music, or whether you don't use music. I don't know what type of yoga you do. You can't control someone's will. No. Exactly. That can be very hard because it's coming from wanting to help them. So if somebody is addicted to a substance that is killing them, it's hard to kind of be like, well, that's your lesson. I'm just out of here, but so that it tends to be what I've dealt with in the past, and I'm getting better at it. Again, what you grow up with, you guys, you will repeat. So I grew up with the alcoholism and those behaviors, and with a mother. So, mother-daughter, it's a very specific type of relationship. So I just have noticed, I don't date alcoholics, but friends will be not alcoholics either. This is what I mean. It gets deep. They will have other addictions. There will be other addictive things they do, because of course I'm aware. I can spot. I can tell you guys. I can tell if somebody's an alcoholic, like, very, very quickly. I'm like, because I grew up and processed it, and I can see signs that are very subtle. So but addictions are almost interchangeable. They really are. And that's, as I've gotten older and wiser, I see that they may not have the exact same addiction that you grew up with, but they'll have that same pattern, and it just maybe it's an eating addiction. Maybe they are a food addict. Okay. Pretty similar behavior as an alcoholic, if you really think about it. And if you've seen it, they may hide what they eat. They do some of it in secret. There's the behaviors, and what's behind it is very, very similar. So yes, I know how we got off on addictions. Let me see. But this was an open chat. Let me see if there are any more questions. Kind of cycles, women, circle, moon cycle. Thank you for your work. Hi, Laura. Well, I actually have over on Patreon, we have a women's circle. And what that is, it's just a low cost way to work with me. And I'd actually thank you for reminding me to talk about that. So Patreon, it's basically like being a supporter of the channel, and it's like $10 or $12 a month. And I basically give them a practice to do at the beginning of the month. And I make this nice tip sheet. And usually it's videos from my channel, because nobody's seen all the videos from my channel. And I'll put together a practice they should do that month. And then at the end of the month, we gather via Zoom and we will do that practice. I'll take questions, but it's a little more structured than this. So that is over at patreon.com/yogini Kala. So that is sort of and I am getting much more into the moon and the energy of the moon. I think I thought it was almost not superficial, but I didn't think it was as serious. But as I'm studying more and doing certain practices that relate to the moon phase, and they're not new age practices, they're really ancient practices, specifically for women. I have seen that there's definitely something to the moon's phase and our health as women. So I do definitely believe there's stuff to that. Trust your intuition. Yeah. The rest is basic self-love. Yeah. That's from Laura. So I would say, Sean, as you're going through your process with your divorce, yeah, trust yourself. And the more also as women, especially for the women on this call or whatever, I feel like our intuition is often bodily based. So if you can, and I have body scan meditations on here, if you can pay attention to your body, you'll feel subtle sensations that will basically tell you, that's like often the type of intuition that women have, is you'll feel something. I mean, you've heard the phrase, something in the pit of my stomach, or my stomach turned my stomach, right? So there's certain areas where you'll feel something, and that's often an indicator of what to do or not to do. Mm-hmm. It is, yes. The moon cycles are important. I know there's a woman talking a lot about that, or she has a book specifically about, yeah, women and the moon cycle, but even more specifically where she's like these type of days, and I think she has linked it to like Western science. She's like, it's this hormone, and so therefore you want to be a little more quiet, a little more withdrawn. I've heard a couple women talking about this. Sunny Lenarduzzi, who is a YouTuber, very, very big YouTuber in a different space than me, but I think she mentioned that woman's book, and she said it was very, very good. Yeah. Oh, I lovingly release the need to be addicted to pain. Oh, that's beautiful. What I would say, I lovingly release the need to be addicted to pain. And I would also flip it. I might leave out the word pain. Some people are very literal, and they're like, yeah, you can't even have that word because your brain does understand. But to make it even more positive, you could say something like, yeah, I lovingly release the need to be addicted to pain, but then I would go to the positive of what I am now open to stable, loving relationships, something like that. I'm now open to supportive, loving relationships. You see, so you want to give what it is you're moving towards, not just what you're moving away from. So yeah, good. And your brain does know, especially if you've been in pain with it, what you're saying. The brain isn't like that, because they're like, oh, never use a negative word. I think that would be actually good transitionally. So where you say something like that transitionally for like a month or whatever, or if you feel you're moving back towards a painful relationship, and then start putting more positive ones as you go forward, because it's a continuum, right? Like somebody who is deeply depressed, I don't think they should start saying, I am so happy right now, I feel joy and bliss. It's not going to work. So if I were deeply depressed and I wanted to work with affirmations, I may say something like, every day I'm finding more joy in my daily life. You see how that's moving them forward, and they can find, maybe it's a cup of tea, maybe they decide to go out for a little bit of a walk, right? And they've been, because I know when I was really depressed, and I've noticed it with other people when they're depressed, you don't tend to want to go outside, and you don't like sunlight. That's also interesting. I remembered that recently. There's this, you don't want to go, I would go out more at night. Okay. And I think there are reasons for that. We're out of sync. We're out of sync with nature. So what I'm saying is, don't make your affirmation completely preposterous, especially if you hear a voice say that's bullshit. I would make it positive and moving in the direction you want. And then as you feel more positive, increase the affirmation to that, if that makes sense. I've just seen that works better, and you don't get that conflicting voice telling you that's not true. Like if you're 70 pounds overweight, I wouldn't start saying, I am so skinny and blah, blah, blah. I would start with something like, every month I'm easily shedding, 3 pounds. I feel fantastic. I have more energy. I feel great. So that you're putting in the positive, but you're not making it so unbelievable that your mind fights you, that your conscious mind fights you. And that's not to say that you can't have what's called a C goal, because now I really am on a roll. Like Bob Proctor calls a C goal. You can have a big goal, but I like to make the affirmations, again, you can write anything, but if you hear too much of that's not true, then you need to change the affirmation. I would change the affirmation to where you can believe it and then move forward, like a plane taking off. Like start where you can believe, and then you're going to get higher and higher and higher. Yeah. So I hope that's helpful in terms of affirmations. Let's see. It's hiding something. Hopefully nobody cursed, because I don't really want to. I'm old-fashioned. I don't want to read curses. Let's see. I don't know why YouTube hid something there. Every day I'm getting better and better. Yeah, I mean, that's the classic one. I think it was every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better, right? It's simple, covers everything. This new moon now has a very high vibration. Yeah, I watch a woman who does Vedic astrology because I find the Vedic astrology more accurate. And the personal astrologer I see is a Vedic astrologer. They did, and some of you guys sound like you're more into astrology than I am. You may know they use a slightly different system. I just know the Indian system, where the stars are, is where the Indian system has them. The Western system is off by many degrees over thousands of years. So, for example, in one system you may be a Taurus, but in the other system you're going to be something else, because one of them is off. The Western system is off a little bit. And so I just find the Eastern or Vedic astrology, it's called, or Jyotish, I believe is the other name. I find it's very accurate, and also for not even so much prediction, but kind of telling you what phase in your life is coming up. For example, I'll give you guys a real quick example. This astrologer, I had done some yoga videos, but it wasn't really a direction I was necessarily going to go in. And for whatever reason in my chart, she said, anything with muscles. She's like, and you could teach Pilates, anything that has to do with the muscles of the body is going to sort of bring you forward and sort of be more positive for you. And interestingly enough, the yoga videos are doing very well, and they're like gaining, the longer they're out, they're really gaining like more of a following now. So I like the Vedic system. I like the astrology that is Jyotish, and also ancient. And obviously way back, it would have mixed, because as people traveled and were trading the different systems, information was spread. What are your thoughts on the different yoga disciplines being the most effective on different chakras, like Hatha working best for any root chakra problem? No, I haven't seen anybody say that or no, no, no. I mean, they're all hatha. Thank you for that question, Laura. They're all hatha. It's just they're branded. I mean, come on. They're branded. It's like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. I mean, they kind of are similar. I think Coke tastes better, but I don't drink soda. But I'm just saying, they're both colas. So hatha yoga is sort of the generic term, right, for the physical postures. And then you've got like Ashtanga, which I used to do a lot, which, Patabi Joyce, sort of that's his system. And this is what I teach. And Mr. Iyengar. So then it's Iyengar yoga. And I'm pretty sure that's trademarked. And you can't just say that. It's so no. There's no, I wouldn't say the cousin I would say to all of the different hatha yogas is Kundalini yoga. Kundalini yoga definitely is like distinct. I would call it like a branch off of the yoga tree. I just want to say, in my opinion, I like Kundalini yoga, but I think it can be a little destabilizing for people. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Kundalini yoga has like a lot of fast movements. Like they might like go like this for like, 20 minutes or something. Like it has a lot of fast movements, has a lot of fast breathing. And I think that can destabilize people. I have seen it. It's the sense I get from my studies of what's balancing and what's not. People who like kind of a high or want like a hit, can like it, but it's not good for every type of person, in my opinion, the Kundalini yoga, or just modulate how much of it you do. Okay. So I know this only fits a few people who are listening, so I don't want to go off too much on that, but I like Kundalini yoga. I'm saying it's just, I think you have to be aware of how much you're doing for your body type. So that was a great question, Laura, but no, I don't, there's no, oh yeah, Wheels of Life is excellent. Yeah, Wheels of Life is absolutely excellent. Okay, I'd have to get up, but yeah, Wheels of Life is definitely the Western authoritative. Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know if I did a review on that. So absolutely, I agree. I mean, maybe she said, if she said hatha, yes, she meant the yeah, I would think she meant the physical asanas. So yeah, but that's a wonderful book if you're interested in chakras and you want a really in-depth book, you guys, is Wheels of Life. Yes, and Robbie, I did review Queen Afua's book, and there was another book. Yeah, I reviewed 2 books in that one video. Queen Afua's, and there's another one also for women that I reviewed. So yes, her work is a classic. Oh, Laura, yeah, Guillemine, yeah, from France. I know Iyengar is huge in France. Is that right, Laura? That Iyengar, that style is very, very big in France, I thought. I do those fast movements to move the blood and increase chi. Yeah, knowing American opulence. Yes. So you do Kundalini yoga, is that right? Knowing American opulence? It definitely, that's what I'm saying, it does. But just like anything, it can be very powerful and can be too strong for some people in certain conditions. That's the thing that I feel is missing in the West. And Laura, because I can tell she's, yeah, kind of really into yoga. I'll give a real quick example, like with turmeric. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, we're going to take turmeric. Now, turmeric has been used in various cultures, but I think this one, it really is coming out of India. It's used a certain way. One thing I found out is that you're supposed to heat the turmeric. It was always heated because it said it sort of activates it. And so what I'm finding is what we do in the West is we'll hear about something, whether it's maca, whether it's whatever it is, and we're like, okay, well, I'm just going to take that in a capsule and we don't look into the culture, how that culture has used it, because over thousands of years, they've figured out how to use it safely. And I know this is just a fact. So for example, with turmeric, I tell people who I know who are taking it, I'm like, heat it, right? It sort of, because what then you'll see the Western doctors will be like, oh, well, that thing has a side effect. And it's like, because we took it out of context. We in the West, we take things out of context. And then when it has like a blowback, we're like, oh, Oh, well, I guess that's not good. It's not that it's not good. We just didn't take it within the history, um, and the background of, the culture that had experience with it. Like, I mean, I guess the same thing even with, like, say, ayahuasca. Okay, and I haven't done ayahuasca, but it's that idea. It's embedded in a culture. They have ways they do it safely. We're just like, oh yeah, give it to me. I'm going to take it. I want to feel it. I want to just blow my mind. So I'm just saying that everything has a good and a bad. Like, that's just right. It has a good and a bad. So in terms of Kundalini yoga, as I said, I love Kundalini yoga. I do it, and I'll do, certain series depending what I need. But again, because it moves the energy so strongly, it can destabilize some people, and in the long run, maybe not be good for them. That's all I'm saying. And that's just anything. If I drink too much, you can take ginseng. Ginseng is great, but you can take too much ginseng and you'll start to have problems. you know, that's just how it is. So I feel like in the West, we tend to, and maybe this is more like the average person, they'll hear about a supplement and they'll just start taking it. Really kind of sad story. And I'll share it quickly though. A friend of, a family member of mine had a dear friend and she had cancer, and she was going to start taking some herbs she had heard about. And I just remember her energy was pretty low. Like, it didn't feel optimistic even at that time, because I think she had been through a lot with it already. She had taken a lot of Western treatments. And she's like, oh, this is it. I'm going to start taking this. And I remember thinking, and I didn't say it because I didn't want to depress her or be negative, seem negative to her. And so this is kind of my point. It's like the big point. Just taking one herb, everything is in context. Okay. And again, we don't like that because that makes things harder. So even when she said that, I'm just going to start taking this herb, I knew, what is her diet like? Give me a yes if you know what I'm saying. What is her diet like? I have friends who it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take this. It's like, I don't want to say like decorating a turd or putting glitter on poop. You know what I mean? You have to, everything matters. What is your stress level? So say this woman, right? If she would have needed, like, I mean, I think that anyone can, it's possible to beat cancer, absolutely. But she probably would have needed to almost like go away, go to the country, have all of her stress stopped, because all of that affects us, our stress level. I mean, look at what, we're all dealing with now and how stressed people are. So I'm just saying everything is interrelated. So for her to, oh, well, this herb is what's going to cure me. No, you've got to look at the underlying causes, what caused the deep stress that you had. Look at your diet, look at your lifestyle, look at your relationships, everything. We were living in the city at that time. And I'm like, it's just, it's everything is interrelated. And like I said, I didn't want to depress her. I really didn't. Let's see. What did you, oh, ayahuasca. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Yari. Hey, Yari. Yeah, I know, real quick, this is like through an acquaintance. I heard of somebody. Oh, yes. I remember who it was now. Like the young, the mother was a client, and then the sister of this woman, their kid went off to like Peru to do ayahuasca, and get this. And then like, against their wishes, whatever, like flew out of there, like kind of blew his mind, and then was like getting on a plane, like, yeah, and was really had tipped himself into mental illness. Seriously. Okay. And I want to say it was either France or England. So he flew like out of Peru, messed up his mind. And I'm not saying ayahuasca is bad. I'm saying you can't just like pop in, don't do it right, don't have support. And then he already, I think, had maybe a little bit of fragility, right? And so they were trying to deal with him now because he wouldn't listen. He's just like, I'm fine. But he was erratic. He was just, things were messed up. So yeah, that's all I'm saying is we need to be cautious and look at things in their context. Don't just try to like, oh, I can use that. Look at how the native people, the culture the thing came from, how do they use it safely? I think it's an arrogance of us in the West, even with herbs, or when we make it a drug and we're like, oh yeah, it has a side effect. Well, for example, I'm very much into Chinese herbs. I don't know that's very complex, but I have a Chinese herbalist, a traditional Chinese herbalist. That's what you would call them. And they don't give you one herb, you guys. This is my thing. This is my soapbox, actually. When you go to a skilled Chinese herbalist, and even the West too, they give you a blend. They give you a blend because this thing is going to make you too warm and it's going to be too activating. So they give you something that's a little bit calming, a little bit cooler, and they give you this complex blend. So that's what I'm saying. But in the West, we'll be like, oh, the active ingredient is papaziazine. We're just going to pull the papaziazine out. We're going to make it into a pill. We're going to patent it, right? So they can make money and they can keep other people from it as well. Because this is my patent now, and I'm going to give that to you. And oh, this has a horrible side effect. If you took it in the herbal form with the other herbs in the complex of the way it's created, it wouldn't have had the side effects. So it's just my soapbox because it's very obvious, but it's coming. There's a mentality that like Western scientists and culture brings to things that may be different than the culture that we're taking it from. And I just feel like we don't respect that culture's wisdom. All right. Like, and we'll just be like, oh no, we'll figure it out. We're just going to do this. Thanks, you guys. Like, even really quick, there's a Stanford scientist, and he's fantastic. And he's talking about using the breath. And I'm like, wait, the yogis were talking about this thousands of years ago. And there's never credit or just to even acknowledge. I don't know. That just bothers me. That just really bothers me. So yeah. Yes, right. People think a body is just a vessel, but it is a temple. Exactly. Yeah, cultural appropriation. It's for a quick fix. That's exactly what it is. It's a quick fix, and it is a cultural appropriation. Now, I think we're at a time where all knowledge needs to be shared, but the cultural appropriation aspect is we don't have any respect for or acknowledgement of where something came from and the wisdom that is embedded in it. Yes, so exactly. But I mean, I think we're at the point now where the planet needs all the wisdom traditions, but that respect is still not there. So absolutely. Very good comment. My sister worked with a Chinese herbalist while going through cancer. Wow. See, I often, you guys, for you really live with me, I go off on a tangent. It'll often relate to people who are live. I mean, it can be really weird. Like, yeah, I don't know why I went off on that cancer tangent, but yeah, they, and I'm not saying don't do Western. I would not say that on YouTube. And I think Western medicine is really good at certain things. Absolutely. But I think that, yes, like Chinese medicine, their system is just extremely in-depth, extremely precise. And I just have a lot of respect for it. I've seen it, just heal people and heal conditions, where in the West, they might just be like, the thing that's beautiful about a lot of these herbal traditions and traditional cultures, real quick, is they treat what you present them with. In the West, unless say the doctor can say, oh, you have this disease, he can't treat you, right? Do you see what I'm saying? It's in the West, it's very much about, they need this diagnosis. And I mean, I guess I see why, because it's that scientific approach, like, oh, now you have this disease and this is our protocol to treat that. Any other herbal system, if you go in with a dry cough, diarrhea and something else, they'll be like, oh, okay, this is what we see as the syndrome that they don't have to necessarily name it. They'll treat that, and they'll treat the underlying condition. In the West, you almost have to have a full-blown disease before you can be treated, if that makes sense. They have to be able to give you a diagnosis, oh, you have GERD, or oh, you have IBS, or oh, okay, and then they kind of are like, and they work from the symptom level. So Western medicine is wonderful at suppressing a symptom, whether it's a migraine or whatever. But these holistic systems, and I know I'm preaching to the choir now, these holistic systems are like, why do you have a migraine? When with a friend, if a friend tells me they have a migraine, and this wraps it up actually really quickly, so I'll probably try to end on this note in a few minutes, but migraines are linked with liver gallbladder energy dysfunction, often like what we call like liver fire rising. So it has to, it's sort of, it's just a certain type of energy coming from the liver. And if it goes up, migraines can result. So I'll say something as simple. What could help with a migraine is to do a foot massage, because the energy is like up here and it's rising and it's just intense. And if you do a foot massage, the energy, you're sort of pulling it back down, literally can make a huge, huge, huge difference. Also, they could look at their diet and herbs that may kind of calm the liver down. And I'll talk to people about it. Often, was there an irritation to you? If you get really, really irritated and angry, right? And certain people know that. They know what triggers their migraines, right? Even the West will say, oh, certain things seem to trigger. So I'm just saying, look at that underlying, like what is the cause, and try to work at that level rather than just hiding the symptom. I love this analogy. Somebody said it's like if your warning light in your car comes on, right? It's like flashing that something's broken. And like somewhat in the West, we just take a hammer and just break the light or cover the light up with tape, right? Let's cover it up, meaning it's trying to warn you, right? It's like something's going on. And we're like, okay, I'm just going to stop that. That's bothering me. So I'm going to stop that. But now you don't have that warning anymore that something's wrong. And you just keep driving the car. But it was trying to tell you there's something wrong. You need to get your brakes checked, or your oil is leaking, right? And so I'm saying sometimes the Western approach is, well, we'll just stop that light from telling you the gas is leaking, or the oil is leaking, and you'll be fine. And it's like, no, it's still going on. So I hope more and more, like I love Dr. Oz. There are doctors, Andrew Weil, there, and I'm sure there are other doctors less well known. The media may not focus on them. So Dr. Gebbie. I know with the diet, I have to find out more about. Like I also was, tried raw food for a while, and again, some things are good if you're healing. Like if you're healing cancer or healing a serious illness, then raw food can be great. But long term, all the systems, we shouldn't live 100% on raw food. It over time has a weakening effect. In the same way that I was saying, like Kundalini yoga is great for some people, some of the time, but not for all people all of the time. With like eating a raw diet, some people seem to thrive on it, and then clearly other people don't. And especially long term, it's said to be weakening. In the beginning, though, it purifies your body, right? It purifies your body because many of us have eaten way too much meat. I count myself included, eat a lot of like baked goods, a lot of things that are denatured. They don't have any nutrition. So when you go on a raw food diet, you guys, and again, it's opinion, I am not a medical doctor, and observation, it cleans you out because the food is lighter, obviously, right? Like a melon versus eating a steak. Okay, one is lighter, just easier generally to digest, right? More water. So it has a cleansing effect. So you will feel better. But then, do you want to do that for 5 years, just living on fruit? Some people apparently can thrive on it, but for a lot of people, it's not going to work. So it just requires sensitivity and not getting stuck on the principle, because that's what I see a lot. Like, they're raw food people, so they're raw food people, right? So they have to keep doing raw, even if like their teeth start falling out, I mean, like bad stuff, but they're like, oh, I'm a raw food person, and they're sneaking some steak on the side or something. Anyway, yes, water. For bipolar disorder, Michaela. So again, you might have jumped in. Something as serious as bipolar, I would say multi-pronged approach, right? Those of you who've been with me this hour, you know that's what I would say, right? I think that bipolar is such an intense thing that what I would do, if you were like someone in my family who would listen, I would attack it from multiple prongs. So bipolar, I actually know someone who suffers from this, and they live on fast food and soda that is amped up with caffeine. Now, why? If you have bipolar, you're going to try to live on that. So I would look at your whole lifestyle, really, really try to get a hold on the lifestyle. I honestly think for that, I would do Western medicine, but here's why: only to kind of stabilize, and then once you're pretty stabilized, do your research. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Like I would just stabilize and do research and then go from there. But because it's such an intense thing, I wouldn't want it to, like, this one herb is going to help. It will help, but you'd have to do lifestyle things, like even getting back in that rhythm of going to bed at a certain time at night is profound. Getting that morning light, right? Again, things that our ancestors knew. This Our ancestors lived in tune with nature, but now it's like we have to like reinvent the wheel. Because I know, for instance, a lot with bipolar, sometimes the people who are bipolar get in this sort of odd sleep cycle. So I'm saying basically you have to look at your whole lifestyle. And I would do everything to get stable first, and then I would do research. So I certainly wouldn't just say this herb or that herb, because I think it would be bigger than just one herb. That's just my opinion. Oh, Laura, thank you so much. Okay, real quick. Yes, the Chinese herbalist going through cancer. Any tips on how to balance hormones? I've been struggling. Talking about turmeric just made me think of it. Okay, so Laura, I think balancing hormones is a big issue. Something I struggle with too. I think for us women, depending on your age, a lot of that, those are natural changes. Let me show you. So I would look at Queen Afua's book. And there's two of them here. This is just, sorry, I happen to have these not packed yet. Maya Tawari, Women's Power to Heal Through Inner Medicine. Okay, can you see that? This is her on the back, kissing a deer, okay? You've got to be pretty calm for a deer to want to come up and kiss you. And then she has another one, The Path of Practice, a woman's book of healing with food, breath, and sound. So I think hormonal healing is really complicated, because I think a lot of that is lifestyle. And so it's a big thing, because it's, again, getting ourselves slowed down enough. She has a lot, in fact, for women about getting your menstrual cycle to sync up with the moon. Like, and she, so yeah, definitely check out, go on Amazon, either Women's Power to Heal or The Path of Practice. That's one of her main things, is to try to get women back into sort of this regular cycle. So yeah, I would recommend that, along with, like, you could look up Queen Afua's book, and the name, I think it's Sacred Woman, something like that. But yeah. Michaela, you're welcome. Yeah, I really would, and I know a lot of times it's hard to get the right medicines calibrated. I totally get that. Even with like depression, it's very hard to that may not work for you, but your friend takes it and it works. So but just try to get yourself really stabilized, because then you can do your research and just figure out a plan to take, and you can also stabilize your life. Like I said, the person I'm thinking of with bipolar, it's just very up and down for them. But like, their diet is horrible, and your diet is what fuels your brain. Like, literally, you guys, because I'm enjoying this so much, I'm still going on, but caffeine for me gives me the tiniest amount of caffeine gives me symptoms that I don't want to share with you, but like specific symptoms, like, yep, it's the caffeine. I mean, literally, even green tea. So I'll have some, but it won't be every day. And I'll just be like, oh my God, I need a boost. I'm going to have this like one glass of green tea. But you can be very sensitive to some things. And the person next to you will just be like, oh, that's stupid. I eat this all the time. Never bothers me. So I would really, for anyone out there, get your diet together first. Eat a healthy whole foods diet, whether for you it's vegan or vegetarian, or whether it's paleo. But you're definitely going to need fresh fruits and vegetables and just real food, right? And like I said, some of us could be sensitive to the tiniest thing could be what's throwing you off. I'm currently looking at the blood type diet. So, you know, interestingly, for my blood type, I'm not supposed to eat chicken, which is funny because I never really, really liked chicken. It was okay, but it just, chicken is supposed to be healthy, right? But this doctor is like, well, not for certain blood types, and so that's an approach to the blood type diet. I have a teacher who's been on it for decades, and she's introduced a lot of people to it who, swear that it helps them. One of the things that also many of us are allergic to is wheat. And again, I thought at first, I'm talking years ago now, I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Come on, it's bread. Oh, come on. That can't be bad. But I have seen, you guys, if I eat too much bread, certain types of bread, my stomach just, and there's a book called Wheat Belly, right? Yes, blood type diet. Dr. Diamato, just look up blood type diet. Yeah, I packed that book. I packed a lot of stuff already. But what was I? Well, see, lost track of my thought. But yeah, the blood type diet. Wow, Laura, thank you. Coffee and green tea make me so nervous, whereas matcha, Laura, this is so weird. I loved matcha. I love the taste of matcha. Matcha, you guys, it's a green tea. It's like the leaves powdered. It's this bright green and it smells like grass almost. I loved matcha. And then it became too much. Laura, I literally had to stop. I had a can, and that stuff's expensive, you guys. It's like $15, which is, it just feels like that's a lot but it's the powder. I do not lie to you. I was using this much of a powder, and I would feel great in the day. It gives you a nice lift. I'm talking about matcha now, matcha, matcha, not maca, matcha. I'd feel great all day, like really nice, like clean energy. But in the nighttime, I couldn't fall asleep. So my body was so sensitive that I'm telling you, not 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, that little bit of powder matcha, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, I'm awake and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't go to sleep. I had to throw out the can of matcha, and it really upset me because I love the taste. And I don't think you can get decaf. Laura, can I get decaf matcha? I don't think I can. No, that's what I was doing. I was doing a matcha latte. I have a high-speed blender. I have a recipe somewhere on my channel. I would put cashews or almonds with the skins off, just the like little naked almonds, make my own matcha latte. You could not even taste the matcha. It was still too much. It just was too much. So I'm just saying, and I'm real quick on this for women, especially for getting into your 40s and 50s. I've had other women tell me this. Remember one woman specifically saying, she named 3 things. She goes, caffeine was one of them, wine, and I think she either said red or white wine and something else. And I think sugar. She hit menopause or going into perimenopause, and she just noticed her body did not do well with caffeine, either red or white wine. I don't remember which one was not as good, and just sugar. And I swear I've noticed it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't have this. You just notice, you don't feel that. And the way to test it, for those of you who are like, oh, these things couldn't cause a problem. If you have something every day, you can't tell if it's a problem. That's what's so funny. The only reason I first discovered caffeine was giving me these problems is because I wouldn't have caffeine every day. For whatever reason, I was like, some days I'll have a little bit of tea and I would notice these symptoms. I wouldn't have it for 2 days and I'd have some again, notice those symptoms. So you almost have to do that thing where you eliminate, where you pull something out of your diet, or you just focus on it and then you can see the results, if that makes sense. So if you eat, chicken all the time, you may not notice, that you feel better not eating it because you don't know. So yeah, with this blood type diet, for instance, I'm trying to think of what else. There's something else really basic I'm not supposed to eat. I think peanuts. I love peanut butter. And I think that that's one of the things, but the chicken is the main thing I took off. Anyway, now I'm rambling. A lot of tummy problems with blood type. Oh, okay. So it sounds like have you looked at this? It sounds like you've looked at this blood type book. Um, I quickly looked. I have to disagree. I'm an O, and dairy meat don't suit me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, if you looked really quickly, yeah, because he does break it. He does break it down. I think it's also tricky because, yes, then you have heritage, and then you have like, it's weird. It is weird, because some people don't do well on dairy. But again, like Laura, what a lot of the sort of Vedic scholars, when they talk about, is the dairy they're talking about was from like a cow that was roaming in the fields eating grass, and it would have its babies, it could feed its babies, and then some milk would be taken. It wasn't talking about factory, like, a factory manufactured cow, basically, that never moved from its stall, that had diseases, that was pumped with hormones. So again, some of it is in the pure state versus what we get. Like the dairy we get now, you guys, is not the dairy any of our ancestors would have had, unless you've got your own goat and got your own, it's a different product entirely. It is a product. So yeah, some of the stuff is, but yeah, look, check it out. It may work for some of you. And yeah, then you ultimately have to listen to your body. Also, another thing with some of these, looking at a diet where it says, oh, maybe this will work for you, it may depend on what you were eating previously. And if your system is clean, coming to this type of food, like, anyway. I have no investment in the blood type diet. It was just one of the ones that I threw out there. And yeah, you still have to pick and choose, because you may individually have an allergy to something that, is like, oh, that's supposed to be good for your type, but it's not. Yeah. So thank you so, so much. And so Laura and Robbie and Michaela, um, let's see. Crystal took that back. Sean. Um, yeah, there are three ways to work with me off of YouTube. Like, there's tons of content on here. There's the Patreon, which is very low cost. And like I said, it's just basically getting a practice at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month we gather. And the Chakra course, which I'm going to reopen in January. It's running right now. And I have women in the Chakra course from all across America, Portugal, and England. So it's amazing. The internet is amazing. And then I am also looking at, I know I'm going to be starting something with like money. It's called Money Mindset Magic. And it's for women who want a group, a high vibration group, where they focus on abundance through mindset. So it's going to be more mindset and also taking action. And it's going to be a support group for women. And that is going to be an investment, because it's basically going to be for business, like for women who want to increase their income, or like you want to get a better job and you want to prepare to do that and get your mindset and get sort of law of attraction and all of that together. So that I am going to be starting. So look out for that. Money Mindset Magic, that came to me. And I'm just very interested in how our mindset affects our abundance, and even like what opportunities come to us. I think that we're in co-creation with spirit. And so the first thing is to ask is, do you want it? And then is it something that is aligned with your bigger purpose? So that's what I'll be working with that group, with the Money Mindset Magic, and that'll be probably starting in January. So this was really fun to be here with you all. Those of you who came in later, some folks from the beginning may have left. Always listen to your body. Absolutely. Always, always, always. Because it's going to speak to you about what's right for you. And that changes over time. That's the other thing, kind of what I was hinting at earlier. It changes over time. So one type of yoga may have been good for you in your 20s. When you're 50, that exact type of yoga may not be good for you. Now, it's not that that type of yoga is bad. See, that's where we get in the West. Oh, you're saying it's bad? Well, what's wrong with it? Da, da, da. No, that woman has changed from when she was 23. She's now 53. She's changed. She has different needs. Her body is different. So she might need a different type of yoga than she did when she was 23, right? An herb might work well for you, but you're not pregnant. Okay, pregnant woman, there are points that I'm teaching in my chakra course that you don't do on a pregnant woman. Because if you strongly press some of these points, you could literally start contractions. So everything has to be taken in context. And I think that's where the wisdom, that's where it's good to have a teacher, because we see stuff on the internet and we're like, oh, I'll just do that. And again, it's all contextual, right? All information is contextual. It depends on you, your goals, your body, your mind, your spirit. So it was just really lovely. I didn't have anything else to do this afternoon, and it was gray outside, and I wasn't going to do a video, but I'm really glad I hopped on. So thank you guys so much. And once we got past those first quiet 5 minutes, you guys had your questions and discussion, and it was really great. So thank you so much. Stay blissed and blessed. And below every video, hang on, I think it should be there, is how you can join my tribe. And I just sent out a weekly newsletter and just keep you in the loop. You'll get information on anything that I'm doing first. And it's just a way to get in touch, because you guys, YouTube could cut a channel at any time. It's unlikely, but it has happened to channels. Or, remember MySpace? I wasn't on MySpace, but, things closed down. So this way, I basically have a way to be in touch with you, and you have a way to stay in touch with me. So below any video, there should be a way to join my tribe, and you get 3 free meditations, including an inner child one that is really, really good. It's so good, I kind of want to put it on the channel, but I kind of want to keep it for people who are okay, I'm in. But it's a beautiful inner child meditation. And so you get access to that. And I've gotten great feedback on that one from many, many people. So stay blissed and blessed, and have a beautiful week. Stay safe. Don't be overcome by fear. Just be careful, but do what you need to do, and be happy. Bye-bye.